All right, so sorry, let me send you a message now, okay? Just, oh, you will not be able to respond. Don't worry about that. Okay, so we'll be starting any moment from now on the conversation. Hi, guys, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you're connecting from. So, this is your favorite coach. I'm Coach Wisdom Akbar. So if you are connecting from any part of the world, on this very live stream, we want to explore a bit on job satisfaction. As of yesterday, we talked just on the periphery on job satisfaction. So we want to do just a bit of mini interview from different professionals just to get to hear their opinion about job satisfaction. As we all know, job satisfaction around centers around people emotional state or psychological state towards what they do. If they are actually finding motivation in doing what they are doing, or if they are actually finding satisfaction. So we're going to hear opinion from a professional in the aspect of business. So if you have any question at the end of this discussion, do well to send it in the comment box. And then let's rub minds together. We believe that at the end of this discussion, it will be worth your time. Okay? So, MK, you are welcome to this very live stream. And
Thank
I
you.
believe today was nice at your.
Yeah, it was. We are grateful.
Okay, how was it towards the early part of the day? Was it cloudy or it was sunny?
Yeah, it was cloudy. There was actually a rainfall, so a downfall at night. So it came over to the daytime and it was cloudy. Till about past 11. Yes.
Okay, okay, that's fine. That's fine. Anyway, most days you can't just predict the weather just until it comes up. As long as it doesn't stop your activity for that day, then it's fine. We bless God because everybody will still need both the rainy and the dry season to go on with
That's
their
true.
various activity and life. Yeah, that's
Right.
true. Yeah, Annie is teaching. Greetings from this end. Greetings from this end. I'm so glad having you here. So we want to have a bit of yeah, you're the first person. You deserve some banana. You deserve some banana. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that. So on this very discussion, we want to explore a bit on job satisfaction. Yesterday we gave it on the periphery, but for today we want to dig a deeper on this very discussion. We discussed that satisfaction centers around psychological state that centers around people's thoughts on their job, if they're actually deriving satisfaction or there is a need to move on to another area. There are people, because of how the society looks in our days, that are doing various jobs out there or are into different professions, but yet they don't find passion in what they are doing. Some have lost the motivation. Some go into profession that 2 years into practice, they are even at that point where they are depressed and they're thinking, how on earth did I get here? And so on. So those are some of the things we want to discuss. And over here with me, I have MK. Yes, I have MK. She's a business educationist. And I believe from her own point of view, we want to see if she is actually satisfied with what she's doing. We'll get to hear her journey, how she started up from the scratch, and where she is at the moment. And we also want to know if she was given a second life, would she be doing what she is doing? So those are some of the things we'll be exploring. And then for my viewers, if you have anything to add up to it, please do well to send it in the comment box. I'll be so glad to hear your own opinion. We'll be interviewing other professionals, not just her alone. But for the start, we are starting with her for this very episode. So, MK, I'm so glad having you here with us. So, I want to go deep into the discussion. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, so you want to give a shout out to my audience out there. Let's get to hear from you.
Shout out to the audience present. I'm glad you're here. I know you're going to get a lot actually. So thanks for coming by.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I want to start with the first question. I want to know, how did you get into business educationist? Was it a one-day dream? Was it something you have always planned back then when you were way younger, or you just found yourself one day with no choice due to your environment? Let's say you wrote jam several times, didn't get what you wanted, or how did it come about? Let's know, please. I know
That's
my
actually an
viewers are
amazing.
interested. They want to know that.
Yeah, okay. So I I have never wanted business education. I've always had passion for anything that
Okay.
has to do with television, that's mass communication. At a point, I was even considering law. At a point, I was considering linguistics. At a point, I was considering internal relations. These are all things that I had passions for. Okay. But above all stands mass communication. I've always wanted a television. When I was a kid, I would just admire those reading the news. I used to wonder how they'll just be carrying their eye very fast and reading everything. And I'm like, all these things in their head, or did they cram it? Or only to find out that they used to display a screen and all those stuff. But it intrigued me. I was interested. Like, I really loved it. But as
Wow.
Nigeria will have it, when I wrote JAM, I wanted to apply for mass communication actually. When I wrote JAM, I had something a little lower. And if you're not up there, if your grades are not stopping notch, you won't give people reasons to actually get you into that department. And I know for sure that that's hot cake, especially in that university I found myself in. So when I wrote the JAM, I saw my grades. I was actually discouraged, thinking I'm not going to get into university that year. I was okay, what will be, will be. But as God may have it, I got the admission, but into business education. Now, there's every
Okay.
tendency I can say I don't want to do it. There's every tendency I'm like, okay, I'll write again. But I'm not this kind of person that loves delay. Okay. I just believe
Okay.
don't waste time. Okay. Time is ticking. Don't waste time. Make good use of every opportunity. So I had to give it a try. That's how I found myself here.
Hmm.
Actually, yes. I studied it all through school and I graduated, and here I am.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much for sharing. That's not just with you. Other persons out there might even be in the same boat. Nevertheless, we want to know other things further. Before we move into other aspects, I want to use this moment to appreciate my viewers out there. Everyone that's just connecting at this moment, you may be wondering why this very live stream at this point and what's the discussion all about. So, you're welcome to Wisdom Aqua Life and Business Coaching Center. And over here, there are four major areas this very channel concentrates on. One has to do with things that relates with education, health, then business, as well as motivationals. From time to time, you'll be also getting religious related content, just so you're a fan of any of them. This is the right place for you. And if well to click the subscription button just so you can be updated on everything you need to know in those areas. So for today's discussion, we're talking about job satisfaction, and then we're going to be exploring different professionals as to how they got into what they are doing and if they find passion in what they are doing. And if they were given opportunity to change something, what would they want to change? If they were given a second life, would they continue what they are doing? Those are some of the things. So over here we have with us MK. She is into business education. She has already told us her point of it, how she got into business education. It wasn't her plan, it wasn't what she ever planned or think of. But here she is today as a graduate in business education. And so we want to explore further. MK,
Yes.
So sorry, my network went off. So sorry, please. So sorry for that. Hope you
Okay.
can get me well now, right? All right. So where I was saying, the next part we want to know is back then in school, how is ups and downs, has peculiar challenges. What's peculiar about business education? How did you find it? How do you navigate your way through it?
Actually, I struggled in the sense that in life, for anything you don't have passion for, there is no zeal. Okay. If you find yourself in a place or doing something and you don't have passion for it, you don't have a positive mind towards it, you will struggle doing it. Even if it's actually simple, you will see yourself still struggling because your mind, it's not just there. So education is not difficult. I'll say it anywhere. Education is not hard. It's literally what you came out from, like your secondary school, you went through it and you are going through it. So it's like teaching you what you're already going through. I don't know if you get me. So it's normally not hard,
Okay, yeah.
but for me, I struggled. Okay, and it's not a good thing because if it was something I had passion for, there would be this seriousness, there would be this zeal. Even when I see, okay, maybe I the particular course, my grades are going down, I'll be encouraged because I'm like, this is what I've had passion for all my life. And it's only right if I put energy into it so I can come out successful. But from the start, man, I noticed I got what I didn't want. I was like, we take it as we like second choice kind of stuff. So I just took it the way it was. I see the grades. I'll feel bad as human and I'll try, but not as bad as I would have if it was what I actually wanted. I don't know if you get me. Okay.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
energy is
yeah.
the effort will be different, the outcome will be different. So I would say in one word that I kind of struggled. I became more serious in my final year. Like you have seen you have finished the battle. Okay, just do well so that at least you'll not, be so low. I put in more effort in my final year. And I would say that was a bit too late because I think the building stage matters a lot. So
Yeah,
that's how
that's
it
true.
was for me. I struggled. That's the truth.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much for sharing. So if I should get from your end, what I would deduce would be that the motivation was fluctuating, right? So you picked up a bit of the motivation towards your ending stage, and so you are more or less struggling between the motivation to push harder when you're not getting the grades you needed. Would that be what I would take home from what you say?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay. So, for other professions, I don't know of yours. There are professions out there where they have these student lecturer challenges and so on. And I don't know if that happens. Maybe I hear it out there where you need to do sorting and all those things and all those things. How was the experience around that very area?
My experience. Goodness Lord. Okay. So I actually didn't sort too much in school because the money wasn't even there. She is somebody that has money that will sort. If you don't have money, rest and try your best. Okay. I was, when you don't want to sort and you don't have the zeal. So reading is war. What do you want to do? Your friends are telling you, your friends are busy bragging that they are preparing to sort, and you're like, my God, I better go and read because I don't have the money. But I actually sorted though. You know, when you look back and you don't want to carry too much load, imagine having 10. And funny enough, I have never offered 8. It's always 10, 11, higher, higher. Even my final year, it was always so high. So you just have to try. It got bad that at a point I was getting really, really down. Like my first year, I think because of the nonchalant behavior, I got like a lot of D's, and it's not healthy. Like the D's were gymming, as in I got a lot of D's, and it was so discouraging. Like that alone is enough to make me want to give up. But I still had to push on. And as time goes on, there was a year I got a carryover. Nothing to brag about, but it's life. And the funny part is, even when I wrote it and I knew what I wrote, I still had a gain. Going to the man's office, he was like, my script was missing. Uh-uh, I don't understand. My grades are already bad, and you're telling me that my scripts are missing. I don't understand. And he had to use his own power to help me. Even at that, the thing still showed empty. The next time I went to report the case, the man was like, "Your family people are after your matter," because I had corrected the issue. It was funny, but I just had to tell him, "Sir, please just help." And he corrected it in front of me for me to actually believe that he helped me. But I don't know what happened again, that it came out F. So yes, I have had carryovers, but I I haven't really had a lot of clashes with lecturers because I just try to avoid them. I don't like trouble. I did a lot of hiding. It's my final year that I started coming out, knowing that I'm ready to be serious. I now came outside. I said, okay, do what you like. I'm here and I am ready to actually sit up. But I'll say that was a bit too late because I don't know. The effort came late when the beginning wasn't built properly. So yes, I had carryovers, but not too much though. Like I could count them. And then I struggled at a point, but not really lots of clashes with lecturers. No, I didn't have that.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much for sharing. That means if I should get you, in that area was a bit of mixed feeling, and then knowing that at first you were struggling between motivation, and then on the other hand, knowing that financially you may not be able to meet up with the expectations of those lecturers and so on. I don't want to go further to this other aspect, still within the lecturers angle, where most lecturers, they would, I have heard this from a couple of persons I've spoke with, they, especially when they know that you are not doing very well when it comes to your score, your grades. So they may want to get into those emotional involvement and so on. And those persons who have made that decision that I won't compromise my stance, I won't compromise my ethics and so on. I don't know if you don't mind, maybe you would share if there was any instances like that, and coupled with the fact you didn't have motivation, how were you able to handle that aspect? So I don't know. Do you have anything to say in that respect? Then we'll push further.
Yeah, sure. I actually had literally two experiences, I would say. The first one, the man was from actually he was actually from my place. So I had a missing script again in that course. It's a different thing when you are suffering for what you like. It's a different thing entirely when you're suffering for what you don't even like. Like you don't like the course and you're still suffering on top. How frustrating is that? So I was like, another missing script again. Let me go and see what's the problem. I wrote his test, I did his assignments, and assignments actually counts. I tried to attend his classes, so what could possibly be the problem? I went and he was like, that I have a missing script. I was like, that's please, that's not true. He said I should go and scatter and check myself. Lo and behold, I saw the scripts. I was not like, sir, please see the script. He told me, in his words, you would have left it there. What if you now felt true? I was like, just mark it first. Let me see. Let me know what I had and know my fate. And I went through it and saw that indeed I failed. I don't know why. I don't know why lecturers at some can be very strict. Like some, if you miss a word they want you to put, it's over. Oh. So I was like, okay, sir, please, what do I do? Normal Nigerian way now. You have to get yourself out of the federal let my people go. I was like, sir, even if he just let me go. And the man was like, no, normally he asked for something. I was like, okay, sir, what is it? He mentioned price where I week. I said, okay, let's argue this out. And when he noticed the place was becoming few, scanty, students were beginning to go, he now went into a parable saying, if you love someone, hmm, and the person is in need of your help, do you tell the person that you love the person at that moment or you wait? So that's the that he even asked the student, and the girl, so wise and coding that this man is beginning to deviate, said, "Sir, it would be wrong for you to tell the student at the moment that she okay, it would be wrong for you to tell the person at that moment that you like her because she would think you want to take advantage." In my mind, I'm like, thumbs up, girl, because I automatically knew that that is where he's driving to. There was this consciousness in me. Next thing, this man started praising. So, you look decent, you look neat. I mean, so many students come in ras and tattered, but you're corporate as a teacher. I'm still looking, I'm like, thank you, sir. I really appreciate humility won't choke me then. I was so humble. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it, sir. Thank you very much. The man started the next thing he asked for the unthinkable. I looked at the man. I'm like, sir. First of all, it's so indecent to ask for some certain things in your office. Secondly, sir, I use the excuse of being
Exactly.
married. Married. He said it's a lie, you. I said, sir, I'm married. Is it you that married me? How will you know it's a lie? I don't know how I escaped that. I think I used a flimsy excuse to run out of the office. Like, not really run in that sense, but to sneak out. I was like, okay. And you know the funny part of it? I left that place without even returning to the man to talk to him about that. All I just needed to do was put him in prayers. I told God, God, I cannot give this man what he's looking for. And I do not have money to give him as well. So please let him just let me go. And indeed, he did. Like the results came out properly, and I he actually let me go. I was like, wow, indeed, God answers prayers. So that is how I escaped that particular person. The other one was like he sent me on an errand and I refused to go. And I thought deep well that this man has never sent me on an errand. A student now came behind after he had gone and told me that that's a lie. That's a way of him getting to students. That the next thing he'll ask me to, all those movements that I should not mind. I should just leave the office and don't. So with those two, I was convinced that me and lecturers, we don't have close relationship. Like keep your distance and I'll keep mine. So that's how it went for me.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much for sharing your experience. It means a lot to me, especially in this regard where you share. I let me share mine a bit. I have a colleague, not really a colleague per se, but in a related field. Okay, she she had this very lecturer. There were about three of them, and they agreed between themselves that they don't need anything like money. All they need was her body. So they kept her for 5 good years. 5 good years. They kept her for 5 good years. And for each time she writes the exam, she will read as though all depends on reading. She read as though her hobby is reading. Like, I don't know how to describe that level of reading or studying. And at the end of the day, they will set, sometimes they will even bring questions that you would know that this question, they are aiming at something. And they will still fail her at the end of the day. So one day, and they were so blunt to open up to her that this is what they want from her. They were so blunt to tell her, this is what we want from you. So she was like, how do we sort this thing out? We have to come to a compromise. I think that was at the point on her fifth year on making that very attempt was when I came into the picture. So we had to speak with persons who were very close with them. The truth about it was that at the end of the day, they came to a compromise that they will get an amount from her. The amount was scary. It was a scary amount that they later got from her just to allow her to go since they couldn't get her body. So those things are there when it comes to the educational sector. A lot of persons are suffering from that. And it becomes boring when you are struggling with motivation as to the course you are actually into, and then you now have this very one presenting itself. It becomes very challenging. So thank you so much for sharing. I can really relate, especially with that very friend of mine. Now let's forge a bit further. How was it like preparing for exam? Was there are courses where towards the end, your final year, you need to sacrifice including your comfort. So how did you feel towards the how was it like your board exam? How was it like? Would you mind sharing with us? Let's get to hear. How was it like?
Let me get it straight. That's my final year, right?
Exactly, your final year, your last paper, your very last paper. How was it like?
Ooh, okay. It's an experience. Okay. My final paper was filled with anxiety. You know, this feeling of,
No.
okay, this is the very late. And if I'm not careful, I might come back another year. I have to try. Oh, come and see me. I tried my best. I'm sorry to say, and I will not advise my children to do it, but I did a lot of cramming because I know that there are lecturers that want word for word. There are lecturers that don't want what you
Okay.
think. There are lecturers that will tell you, give me what you know. Let me know that you understand what I was saying in class. The lecturer that will tell you, if it's not what's in my handout, you're on your own. Exactly. So I tried reading, and there's this particular course called business law. Not just the course, but the lecturers involved were, God have mercy. You know, the two of them that were sharing it were actually quarreling. So let's say this one pass you, the other one want to frustrate. Let's say you want to actually go and sort the course. Let's just use that one. Who will you sort between the two of them? Because this one can pass you and this one can fail you. So it was not easy for me. It was actually uh you know, you're still there, okay. It was
So sorry,
actually not
guys.
easy.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, it was actually not easy for me. I read the one I could, and I left the rest to God. I'm going to say the only okay, didn't have confidence in. I actually went to sort it. Not to brag, it's bad. It's to read, but I had to be on the safe side. Imagine paying close to 100,000 another year. Where will you get it from? So I had to go and find a way to. And the funny part is, it still came out like to show that the money did not even work. It came out an E. It came out and that's very late. My people go like it was actually what I wrote that saved me, not even the money I paid, because I think the person actually either duped me or the lecturers with their number. And funny enough, that day in the hall they fought. So you know that even when you're writing, you know that any anger can just come up again and they'll tell you some paper. So it was not easy. Like anxiety, a lot of anxiety, a lot of nerves, like my rising. I'm like, God, I beg. Prayers were offered, and indeed, God answered my prayer. My final paper was literally the highest grade I had ever gotten. Like I saw a lot of A's. I saw a lot of A's. A's that I cannot even imagine. A's that I had never had before. Like I was like, God, this is you, because I'm sure not no amount of reading I can read can get me this. Because even if you try, there are some lectures that are just there to frustrate you,
Yeah,
to make
that's
sure
true.
that you exactly. So the A's I saw, I was like, God, I know this is you. Thank you. So it was actually filled with anxiety. Like I was anxious, I was scared as human, obviously.
All right, that's great. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. I know that that last paper, it used to be filled with a lot of mixed feelings, a lot of anxiety. Okay, let's say this. You walked to where the paste result, and then you notice that you failed all your courses, or you failed greater percent of your courses. How would you have felt?
Hmm. A very interesting question with the answers very something in me tells me you know the answer to that question, but I'll still answer it. I would have been broke. Oma for cry. I would have like real tears.
That emotion,
Dropping not
right?
because I actually failed. Dropping because first of all I don't like the course. Secondly, where will I get the money to pay another year when my mates are going ahead? Like, oh my God, frustration would have gripped me there and then. You the gospel truth. So I'm glad I just held through.
So, how about if your friend later called you and told you that you cleared the courses and you went to find out that the number you were looking at wasn't your course number, your course could not, they were not yours, they were someone else's own. So, how would that emotion be?
You know that shout that make people turn and look at you and be like, who is this one? That's joy in massive, massive standard. Like I would have been so happy. Like, trust me. I know, right? I'll be so glad.
All right, let me share this experience. Let me share this experience before you tell us about your service days, okay? Now, there's this friend of mine. He did a radiography. He did radiography. So first, he went into radiography because it. I hope you are there with me, right? I hope you can get me, right?
I am.
You can. Okay. So he went into radiography because he has tried to get medicine on several attempts and it wasn't working out. So what he did was that he got there about on that very jam course, and then he got, was it He got there about 180, 200. So he now sorted his way out. He met someone, which most schools you would see similar thing happening, that after exam, especially after jam and so on in the Nigerian setting, you'll see persons that will come around and say, that's during aptitude test, they'll tell you, I can help you out, but you just need to pay certain amount. That was when my brother was supposed to go in, sorry, my sister was supposed to go in for medicine. Just after she wrote her aptitude test and finish, we met someone who just was like, this one you are doing like this, like you did not write well and things like. She was like, yes. She went in very prepared, but the time allocated for her is like the person. Hello, are you there with me? Hello. Oh, so sorry. Seems your network have cut you off. All right, guys. If you're just connecting, okay, I believe you're back. So if you're just connecting, this Wisdom Akbar Life and Business Coaching Center. So on this very channel, it centers more on four major areas. So which are education, business, health, and then motivationals. But alongside our religious related content. So if you love any of them, then this is the right place for you. So, but for this very episode, we're exploring job satisfaction and job hunting. Those are the areas we're discussing. Yesterday, we did a bit of preview on it, but on today's discussion, we want to see how to interview other professionals out there and get to hear from them if they love what they are doing, how they got into it, and then if there's need to change profession or what they are doing and why they would want to do so. Because job satisfaction is actually an emotional state, it's a psychological state that actually indicates if someone is satisfied with what they are doing or what they are getting, and so on. So I said yesterday, there are a lot of persons who are working and then their take home cannot even take them home. So these are some of the motivational factors. So for today, we're exploring this very concept with a business educationist telling us at first her experience while in school. And she told us that for her, she never thought about it, that she was going to do business education. So it was something that just came along the way. She always had a passion for mass communication and so on. Thank you so much, my twinnie. Thank you so much, my twinnie. I'm so great. I'm so grateful. Thank you for having me here with us. So she said she never had a passion for business education. Her passion has always been in mass communication and law. But here she is as a graduate in business communication. So she is trying to tell us her journey, how it has been. So at this point, I want to go further. So tell us about, I don't know, I gave you the question already, right?
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
Okay, okay, okay. So you can go ahead with the question, please.
Um, I'm to ask.
Okay, sorry. The next area I want to explore is there. Okay, I was trying to tell us about a colleague of mine, right? I was trying to tell us about a colleague of mine before the network locked us out. Exactly. So, not even a colleague, was a friend of mine. So, he went into this very um, aptitude test and then did not get the score he needed. So, he met someone that assured him he's going to give him radiography. So, all he has to do is to pay certain amounts of money, and then the guy, because he was anxious and he has spent good number of years trying to ace the best score in jam. And we know for those persons within Nigeria, the struggle those days was majorly with jam up until the advent of aptitude test. Aptitude test, although dropped some persons, but wasn't that massive compared to what jam would do to many persons. If you were just able to get the best score you needed in jam, then aptitude test would not be much of the struggle. So when he met this person, the person indeed gave him admission for radiography. The interesting gist was that he studied radiography and had some issues along the way that made him spend 8 years. And after the 8 years, He was about going for service when he was told that he was never admitted from the beginning as a student. So, yes, he was told that he was never admitted. So, his name was not there at the master list. At that point, he was devastated. So, he tried to reach out for this person that gave him the admission to find out how everything played out. And to no avail, he wasn't able to reach out to this person as at that point because the person knew what he or she did and blocked every access that he could use to get reach to him. So this guy was depressed, but not just depressed, he became psychotic. You will see him, he will be talking, he will be soliloquizing, talking to himself, walking along the street. He doesn't even know whether he even went into substance abuse. He was smoking. This is someone that doesn't miss church and so on. He was even lost of option of what to do. At some point, he contemplated suicide. The take home out of that is that for those who be coming or who be intending to pick a course or a profession out there, please, shortcuts most time are not the best advice. Ensure you go through the legit pathway. Ensure you take the right route for each or any profession you want to actually venture into, because some of them have those issues with them. Just so you don't spend all your money and then at the end of the day you are told that you were never a student from the beginning. So in relation to our discussion today, there are those after service, after study, they will spend 3, 4, 5 years before they will be mobilized and so on. So, how was your emotion while waiting for mobilization? How was it with you? How was your experience during that phase? What was the stress you went through? Share with us, please, especially in this course
You
which
mean
you never found motivation for.
my mobilization? Okay, the funny part is my clearance was fast. I was
Okay.
surprised because I do see people say, okay, you graduated last year. I'm seeing you in, as in the next year, still running around with file. I'm like, what's going on? It's like, it's not easy, my result, though. So that was my fear. That result is still going to pin me down in this godforsaken place. I was scared, but the kind of exams officer God gave us, Kai, that man is from heaven. He's a saint. As at December, everything was set. Our results were ready. But I had an issue in the sense that while I was in my year three, for us we do IT and teaching practice. So daddy took
Okay.
ill of kidney failure that time. Like he had kidney failure. So all
Okay.
the school people were entering dialysis. And they live on it. You're a doctor,
Hmm.
they live on it. So that one is bygone. All the school fees that my siblings will contribute. There was a time that my siblings actually contributed part of my fees, gave it to me. And one of my other siblings, my elder sister, called. She was crying to me. I just carried the money like that, channeled it back for dialysis. So I couldn't go for teaching practice. And the person they put to coordinate was a very strict man. Hence, it choked me in my final year. Because it's either I have, okay, now when that happens, I actually went forward to look for, like you said, shortcuts are not the best way. I have a testimony to that. So when this happened to me, I was like, okay, I went to look for money. I was not willing to do final year, do projects, do teaching practice. Somebody can die. You cannot curtail that kind of stress. There are levels to these things. And I am the only young person, as in my brother is with my mom, but as a girl child, you have a lot of responsibilities in your house. In church, you're engaged. And now school is now telling you you should do projects, do teaching practice, and still come for lectures. So I considered all those stuff and I was like, okay, this will not work. I went to shortcut. I went for shortcuts. And the guy collected me 50,000 naira. Like nothing deducts, nothing add 50. Even when I told him that the reason for that was because my father died, this guy still collected me. I knew he was not going to do anything. He still collected the money. I'm here finding myself that the man has done something, only to go and check my result and see that I have a carryover. 6 credit load. Like, what is this? I went to my exams officer that I told is a science actually. I cried to this man. This man said there's nothing he can do. I said, God, is this how my village people want to deal with me? Finally, I summed up courage and I went to the like faculty exams officer. That was our departmental. This one is faculties. I went to the man. The man is so strict. I was like, well, if this man wants to shout at me, let him shout. Let him just do me whatever he wants. But I'm going to approach him. Let it be that I tried and there's no way through. I even approached the coordinator of the teaching practice itself. The man was just, I finished blabbing my nonsense. The man was just looking at me. I felt so embarrassed. Shortly after I finished talking, he was just looking at me up and down, told me, so what should I do? Hey, I was okay. His colleagues now came in and he started talking. I was like, wow, okay. So you get to snub me and then all of a sudden you're lively. Nice one. I just carried myself shamefully out of the office. I went there like 2 to 3 times. The man did not give answer. Like he did not give me any reasonable. It was so frustrating. So I finally bowed down to the faculty exams officer. The man, while doing this, I called the man that I gave the money to come. Let's go and see him. Because this is the man he has been using to say, okay, he will do it. Funny enough, he ate that money and he did not even approach the man to tell him anything, forgetting that you're dealing with people's children. Like, I went there with the man. He now told us to stand outside. Went inside himself to talk to this man. Now went and confessed to this man that he has eaten our money. Oh. The man told him, so what should I do? Get out of my office. Because the man seniors him in, yeah, instant. Told the guy, leave my office, get out. So what do you want me to do? You have gone and duped people's children, and you're coming to tell me, leave my office. The guy laughed, came outside, told us, don't worry, not to worry. That the money is not okay for the man. That
Hmm.
the man is saying that the money is too small for him. I'm
Hmm.
not like, hey, I'm not like, okay, we know in me, my
Please, guys, I'll be right back shortly, okay? I'll be right back shortly. So sorry for the network issue, okay? I'll be right back shortly. So sorry, everyone. I want to believe it's the network. Let's look. Let me see. Let's see. Let's hope that the next 30 seconds she should be able to reconnect. Since the network is a bit itchy at the end. So sorry, guys. So sorry for keeping us, okay? So, on this very live stream, we are discussing on job satisfaction, job hunting, as it relates. Okay, she's back. She's back. Network is a bit itchy. All right. Thank you so much
So
for
sorry.
reconnecting. Sorry, yeah, the network is a
Yeah,
bit challenging. Sorry for that.
yeah, it
All
is.
right. I believe it's fine now, and you can get me very well from your end, right?
Yeah, I can.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, who may be connecting at the moment and you're asking what's the discussion all about, as I said earlier, the discussion is on job satisfaction and job hunting. So sorry, I don't know. Okay, okay, okay. It looks like the transmission is not perfect from this end. That's from the viewer's end. Please, if you are viewing this, okay, if you are viewing this from any place you are at the moment, wherever you are in the world, connecting to this, and you are getting us, please let us know in the comment box because it looks more like it's not yet connected. Please, if you're a viewer to this very discussion, this very moment, and then you are connected to us, let us know in the comment box if it is actually up now and you can get us very well. Let us know in the comment box, please. Just so we don't just continue thinking you are connected or we are connected and then you are not getting us. Let us know, please, in the comment box. And please, if you are yet to give this very live stream a thumbs up, please do well to give this live stream a thumbs up, okay? We really appreciate for having all of you here. All right, thank you so much, Blessing, for that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. All right, I think we can forge ahead at this point. We can forge ahead. All right. Oh gosh, the network again. Okay, she'll be back any moment from now. All right, so job satisfaction centers around a lot of things, ranging from relationship between staffs and the boss. So not just below you, including or those at your level, including those persons that are ahead of you. Are they really encouraging? Are they supportive? Job satisfaction also considers factors such as life, personal life, and then professional life balance. So, if there is no time allocated for you to grow yourself professionally or personally, then there is no job satisfaction. Job satisfaction put into consideration things such as remuneration, if there are sufficient rewards for productivity and creativity. Job satisfaction puts into consideration things such as recognition. So are people recognized in the job? Are their efforts appreciated? Or you just, oh, so sorry, please let me check up something, okay? I'm with you guys. Oh, the network is a bit challenging at the end. The network is a bit challenging at the end. We'll have her back with us any moment, okay? So, job satisfaction also puts into consideration things such as recognition. Are you being appreciated? Are you being rewarded for what you are offering, what you can offer? Oh, so sorry for that. Please, guys, I'm sorry for this. Just trying to keep in touch with her to know the reason why she's yet to reconnect. All right. She will be with us any moment from now, okay? So, as I was saying earlier, so recognition is another factor, and then room for growth and progress are some of the factors. So that's why you see most organizations they look forward to great opportunity for you to grow in practice. How do I mean? They can give you study leave, which will call sabbatical. They will give you study leave, time for you to go, see how to improve on your CV. While some settings, please a second, okay, a second. Please, I'll be right back, okay? I'll be right back.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. I'm sorry about that, Abe.
So sorry, so sorry, so sorry, please. I believe you people can get me now too, right? You can get me now, right? I believe you can
Yes.
get me now, right? It's perfect
Yes.
now. Right,
Yeah.
thank you. All right. So I was talking about how some jobs or some organizations they try to boost the morale of their staffs. So some of them will go as far as giving things such as sick leave, travel leave, this leave, that leave, and so on. And then some will go as far as giving wardrobe allowance, kitchen allowance, travel allowance, and this and this and that. All these incentives are put in place just to boost the morale of the staff and to ensure that job satisfaction is gotten at the end. Because a lot of things can deter the morale of staffs, ranging from both psychological, family pressures, and then even the distance, including the distance to the place of work. So those are things that employers should put in perspective, as well as relational or social related factors, such as how the other staffs in the organization they react or they relate to each other. So we are going to go further on this very discussion. So she was trying to give us a rundown on how because we are taking the journey from the scratch and then to where she is at the moment, and then we will get to know if she derives satisfaction. At least greater percent we could deduce that from the beginning and to where she is at the moment of this discussion, the satisfaction is just fluctuating. And from what she said earlier, she picked up a bit of motivation towards a final year. So let's travel down a bit. So you were trying to share with us, MK, how it was in your service, trying to process your mobilization and then going for your service. So let us know how it was. I think that was where the network cut you off.
Yeah.
Maybe you
Okay,
try
so
to wrap up. Yeah, try to wrap up a bit because we need to move further onto
okay.
other discussion. Okay.
Yeah, sure. So after I did that, I went to the man and I spoke to him about it. I would say it was God because it was already late. He worked it out for me actually. I don't know how, but he did it. And I actually passed that phase. So when my exams officer was processing the result and said that I'm cleared, he asked me, you are cleared, why? I told him, sir, it's God. I didn't want to go into detail so I don't implicate anybody. And the man allowed it. He didn't cut it off. He didn't say I went through back corners. He just allowed it. And every other thing was so fast. The submission of files, mobilization, even most persons were shift to the next batch, but God so many that I was sent that time. I was just like, it was very amazing. And that part of it, I'll just say it was purely God because I mean, you don't have things at your hand at that moment. So that was how it was
All
for me.
right. All right. Thank you so much. We thank God for that. We thank God for that. We thank God for that easy ride. So what were your experience in your PPA while on service? How was your experience? Were you still motivated? Were you still finding that motivation in your
I
PPA?
was,
And before then, let me give a shout out to Blessing. Thank you so much for coming this far with us, Blessing. Thank you so much for coming this far with us, my twinnie. That's favor the midwife. I'm so grateful. Tasha, thank you so much for having you here. I think you were actually on live some moments ago. Sorry, I was live over here. That's why I couldn't connect. So how did it go over your end? Hope it went well, and I hope you'll be coming up again. Oh, that is all for today because I want to connect to your section. I told you the other day, I don't want to miss any of your stream because you have a lot of vibe that I find fun in. Okay, so you can pick up from there, MK.
yeah, so my PPA, it was how will I put this word? I didn't love it. Okay, so it's bad enough that I don't like teaching. Trust me, the love is not still there. The passion is not still there even till now. That's the truth. It's not what I've always wanted. It's just like someone forcing you to a marriage you don't want.
Hmm.
School, not even secondary. There's this understanding you have when you're talking to secondary school students. You can use some certain words and they'll understand some certain vocabularies. This one, you have to break into tiny pieces for babies. At the point I taught the toddlers. At the point I taught nursery one. I get shifted. I'll teach primary, and you're not just doing that. You're handling all the subjects. And this particular school has so much standards that you even work on weekends. There's how your work will be. You carry it over to weekends, and then I get a boss that might not be too grateful for the workers she had.
Hmm.
So it was, it was, it was frustrating. Trust me.
Oh.
Frustrating is the word. Frustrating and very annoying. It's worth laughing. I'm seeing some laughing comments. It's worth laughing at because some days I'll laugh, some days I'll do the job of complaining, some days I want to cry. So most days I'll wake up with anger, knowing what awaits me at my PPA. I wake up by 5 o'clock just to prepare. Okay, otherwise you will not have to eat for that day. So you have to prepare what you eat and then call it 7:20, you're at work and then you leave by past 4. Normal corpers don't do that. Normally,
Hmm.
Nigeria has set a standard that you are to be an assistant, not the real teacher. So this school literally fits on corpers as the staffs. Do you understand?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
so they don't employ staffs, they get the corpers and they teach, like they work at staffs. So it was frustrating in simple terms. I don't want to go deep, but it was frustrating.
Well, thank you so much for sharing. Thank you for having you till this moment. All right. Tasha said network was too bad, so I had to end. Yeah, Tasha, over here too, we're struggling with network here and there. So I don't know if it is general for today. So sorry for that. Yeah, you actually got my support day and night. Like any moment, I am always behind you, okay? Not just behind you, in fact, I'm walking along with you. Thank you so much for that. All right. Pushing further, I think I could get some I could actually deduce some the motivationals or the things that actually killed your motivation. So I could say one, the profession, it wasn't what you intended to, because you said you actually love mass communication, you wanted to be a barrister, and then so you wanted to study law, and this you went into it because you weren't getting the scores you looked for, right? Okay, so all right, so that's the first part of it. Most persons happen to find themselves in professions where it wasn't their bargain, but
True.
either life, other circumstances, including, in fact, finance is another has another role to play, and then the complexities or bureaucracies of the educational system, because there are some. I may not have sufficient evidence out there. I may not have sufficient evidence. I may not have any evidence out there. But there are persons in certain professions that sometimes it gives me this strong impression that there are compromises as to how they got into those professions. And some of them, even to the point where they graduate, because someone will say the test of the pudding is in the eating. So most persons, when you see them practicing, you'll be like, how did they even get here and so on. And those set of persons, they will never find satisfaction at most cases in their place of work, because they will have issue when it comes to practice. A couple of them will have issues when it comes to practice, because one, they cut corners into it, and then two, most of them, even when they have cut corners, there are persons who cut corners, and when they are into it, they now find motivation, they put in their best. And at that point, for instance, there are people that know that, hey, this option, what they say is better than many in the forest. They know that this option is the only option I've got. So let me put in all I have. And at the end of the day, they even become very much better than those persons who, that very profession, whom that very profession was their own passion. So people like that are there. But the best of advice would be, or recommendation would be, that you go in for what you love if you must get job satisfaction. And then the challenges that comes up from lecturers and so on. Now sometimes even me, I asked myself, most of this stress I had in school, most of this stress I had in school. Now looking at maybe I should start by asking, now for where you are now, what would be the optimal amount that you will say, this, if you take this amount as your salary, or this is your take home salary or take home amount, what would be that ideal amount that will give you satisfaction compared to the challenges you had there in school? Maybe let me hear from you first.
That is a very, very funny question. Okay, the
Let me
amount
put
that
on the light.
will be okay for me, right? The
Yeah, yeah,
one
yeah,
that
yeah.
I will be satisfied. Okay, okay. With the stress, frustration, anger, I think, and the state of the country now, most especially, 200 and above is what I'm looking at. I am not even joking. With that frustration I went through in school, the stress, the anxiety, like the ups and downs, my journey it was like a roller coaster. And now you come and stand in my face and talk about teen or in the 50s, 60s, 70s. Don't do that. From hundreds, we deal with hundreds now. I mean, that's the only compensation one can get with all what he or she has gone through.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much for sharing. That has been my own experience, my own expectation. In fact, anyway, For me, persons that know me very well, I decide the amount you pay me from point of admission, employment, which is some of the recommendation I give to most persons. If you know a particular pay, I know there are persons who want to interview you, and then with that interview, know if you have passion for the job or you are just coming for money. Yes, there's a place for that. But I may not give you a specific amount, but from my discussion, I'll let you know an amount that if paid. How do I do that? I'll pick up some statistics. For instance, my transportation location each day. And then I will also point you at if I need to spend on other things such as feeding when I come to the place of work. I also let you know what it looks like if I've removed. So how much would be left for me? So if two of us will, I'll pick a lot of statistics and then we'll both look at it together, and I'll allow you to make the decision if that amount you want to pay me will be sufficient. And it works well for me. It makes my employer that I don't have the one, at least for the past, let's say the past 6 years, I've not had anyone that will price me lesser than my expectation. So I think that would be my advice too to people who want to or who are still seeking for job out there. Don't go too low to lower your standards to take up what you know would not give you satisfaction. That is where the issue of struggling with motivation starts with. Because you have most persons, as I shared yesterday, you have most persons who are who they, at the beginning they'll tell you, I need job, I need job, I need job, I want to work, I want to work, and then you get job for them just after they have started. Sometimes in a particular place that the environment looks so flashy, everywhere looks so flashy. You even see it at the periphery. The relationship between staff look very flashy and very attractive. But when you start the work, you see that those persons who were even saying, I wish to work in this place, I love this place so much, and this, they are already complaining 3 months along the way that, this pay, why are they paying? They are that, okay, the employer is making a lot out of the place, but yet look at the amount they are paying them and so on. Those things come up, and I'll be like, why did you take this offer from the beginning when you know it wasn't even something that will satisfy you? So that's some of my recommendation for persons who are still seeking job out there. But let's come to a bit of reality. Looking at the Nigerian system, I think for a couple of us who are still following up with trends, struggling with adjusting the new minimum wage. And I would see our senators and other legal practitioners, other major persons, politicians, and so on, including business analysts and so on, trying to say that 30,000 naira, in fact, even when 30,000 naira was the minimum wage, there are states who were not paying that same 30,000 naira. There were states who were not paying. Now, lifting up the labor congress, that's the labor union, sorry, labor union said they gave them about three different amounts. There was that of 400, there were that of 600 and so on, 700, trying to, they negotiated down and so on, and the government came out straight to say that 60,000 naira was not sustainable. 60,000 naira was not sustainable. Looking at the vast resource Nigerian system, Nigeria as a country, they are blessed with, they say it was not sustainable. Looking at the amounts politicians and so on they are paid, they say it's not sustainable. Now, comparing the fact that other states could not catch up with 30,000 naira, at the end of the day, the negotiation, which we are yet to summarize if they have come to conclusion on a set amount to pay, which they have not said. They only told us that something above 60,000 naira, because Labour said they don't want 60,000 naira. So something around above 60,000 naira is what we want. Okay, what if it's 61,000 naira? What if 60,500 naira? Now, looking at all those factors, do you think it's attainable for an employer to pay his or her staff, especially when you are just a fresher coming out from school? You don't have 10 years experience, In fact, I for those persons, thank you so much, Tasha. Tasha say, yes, I can relate to what you are saying. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Thank you so much for having you still connected. So, looking at the fact that most of the employers, they are even struggling to get, they will tell you we need 10 years experience, we need 20 years experience. As I shared yesterday, some employers, they want the best hand at the minimum cost. Who is there that want to study for 7, or not even study, who wants to work for 10 years and then come back to be paid 60,000 naira? Who wants to do that? Or who wants to
No one.
struggle? Exactly, there are schools where you literally pay in millions of
True.
naira, and then we come back and say, my friend was sharing with me yesterday, he said there's a particular program he wanted to do. He said that just to make the first deposit, it cost him about 900,000 naira. 900,000 naira to make the first deposit, just upgrade his CV. Now imagine someone at the end of that type of course coming down and is now priced at 60,000 naira as salary. Who wants to do that? So do you think 60,000 naira, looking at our environment, is sustainable with the conflict between what is the reality in the government end and then what's the reality with struggling out of school? So let us know your opinion on that.
Let me ask that question in both ways, please. Quickly.
Okay.
As a
Okay.
copper then, 30,000 naira could not do me for 1/4 of a month. You go into market and you see that just rice will almost swallow the money.
Exactly.
Beans will finish everything. You have not
Exactly.
calculated your other expenses. You've not calculated the ingredients and condiments or whatever you call it. You've not calculated hair. As women, we have to mean. I mean, worst is when you are depending solely on that money. Come to a family man. What can 60,000 naira do for a family man? Please enlighten me.
Exactly.
What can you
Exactly.
do for a man that has two to, do you know how much diaper is? Pampers. And you have to also put your wife's bills. Yo, someone will start, you will soon hear some cases of suicide if one does not have Christ, because thinking about all this and the salary you are being paid and your student school fees, you can run mad. That's for a family
That's
man,
true.
no. Exactly.
That's true.
Same for a family woman, because you have to support your husband. I don't believe in women being liabilities, but rather assets. So you have to support your husband. Sometimes you can just tell him, babe, don't worry, I'll handle this particular one. So that you have a major role to play. You also have to take care of yourself. So 60,000 naira cannot go anywhere right now in this economy. Now, let's go into people that have just finished school. Let's say let's say you have suffered and you've spent close to 1 million in your years. Let's say you're going to a public university, or close, let's say you've spent millions. Last you will spend up to millions and
Yeah.
more. And then you've gone for service, you've I don't know, you've gone through the stress and you come out only to receive 60,000 naira for all the stress. How do you build yourself? There's this long rope between the rich and the poor, and they have made sure that that rope is established so that no matter what happens, you cannot meet up to their standard. Why?
Please, I'll be right back. Okay, I'll be right back, please. Okay. So sorry, please, for the breakage in transmission. So sorry for the breakage in communication. So, Tasha said that what can 30,000 naira do for a family man? That's true. That's true. I would even make a reference to pepper now. I don't know if there's any state in Nigeria that they sell pepper 200 naira. Please, someone can enlighten me, please, in the comment box. Is there any state they still sell fresh pepper at 200 naira? Now, look at that.
500
If you
days.
were to, exactly. So if you were to get it for, say, at least let's say 30 days, you get it for 15 days. How much would 500 naira amount to in a 15 days period? That's multiplied by 15. Let's say you're not cooking every day. I'm not even talking about family, the family. That's why I advise people, Going to say you want to start up a family of 7 children, 8 children, it's not sustainable in this very generation. It's not sustainable at all. So imagine you are to cook, and there are houses where they cook 2 to 3 times. In fact, the average is twice in a day. So you want to get pepper. How much would you be putting into just pepper alone? Now you want to go to rice alone. Rice, I think rice is like gold in Nigeria. At the moment, rice is like gold. So you want to do that. And those are staple foods. Those are staple food. Gary. In fact, to get Gary, just the custard in my own location, the red one, you purchase it at 3.5 just for the custard, that pens. Now, for the white one, which we have different types of them, which we know that white one, there are some that are not even good for health. There are some due to the process involved in the preparation. So a couple of them, they are not good for health at all. And then you see the list of them, the list is 3,000 naira. So just as a single man or a bachelor, one of it would not even carry you for a week. So if you had mouths up to like 4, 5, 6 persons, how much would that 30,000 naira that is your salary sustain you with? Looking at all these facets we have compared, then how well can one say he or she will get job satisfaction? How well can he or she will get job satisfaction? So thank you so much, Tasha, for that. She said, and children are so expensive. Yes, indeed. I used to make this very funny joke where that's with my clients. I said that do you know that staying healthy is cheaper than falling sick currently in Nigeria? To be sick is more expensive than staying healthy. An instance, antibiotics. Let me use augmentin as an instance. Unbranded, which if you want optimal effect from antibiotics, you should get branded medications. Unbranded, the least you will get, I don't know if there's any place that will sell augmentin less than 5,000 for you. I'm just using the smallest amount. There are places where augmentin are sold at 18,000 naira. So, and sometimes you may need it for as long as 2 weeks dose. Sometimes you may need it for as long as 7 days. So, if you are to get augmentin, then alongside other medications, how much will be left out of that 30,000? Please, we are so sorry. Network is disturbing from this very end. I don't know. Network is just challenging today. Even earlier, that was the same thing that was disturbing. So, as we're saying, job satisfaction does not just cut across the organization alone, including the government. They have a role to play. So, I was asking this: if you look at this the various amounts that are set aside, I don't think it's still sustainable. So, Nigeria as a system is still struggling to attain that feat of job satisfaction. It's still struggling because the reality of it is that after all the hustle in school and the bustle in school, coming down to point of employment and remuneration plays a greater role when it comes to job satisfaction. Nigerian as a system, they are still aback when it has to do with job satisfaction. They are still aback with when it has to do with job satisfaction. So that's the aspect of salary. But I want to know further, if salary, for instance, you don't arrive at that point where you get what you want to get or what you wish to be paid, what are other factors that could boost your morale, at least to keep you sustained or enabled you to be a bit productive or creative at your job? Please, if you have any, you can do what to share at this point. What are other factors that could help?
Um, well, I think work-life balance is one of the factors that could help motivate. I mean, most people want to be able to work balance their Christian life. For married couples, want to be able to work balance Christian life, home, and inside that home, you have your husband and your children. So that's literally more parties to it. Most people want to be able to work and have time for themselves so that you don't get to break down. Like you said, to stay healthy is cheaper than getting sick in this economy. So work-life balance is one of it. The pay also plays the pay plays a huge part in it. If you're not paid a good amount of money, I mean, you're not even going to give it a thought. Then most persons also want to have opportunities to grow. I mean, there are people that believe in growth. So if you're not growing, they think it's useless to be in that particular place. So they tend to get discouraged about it. Positive environment. If a place is giving you bad energy, trust me, one will want to quit. One will want to give it up. All up. They don't care if okay, there's this one benefit. It's giving you bad energy. It's not good for your mental health, and it's very important. So I'll just run it again. Work-life balance, positive environment, and the last one I mentioned was what again? Was about opportunities for growth. Yes. Yes, growth, yeah. So those three, apart from money, those three also play a huge role.
All right, thank you so much for sharing. You said something that struck my attention. Okay, now you know that most employers, as I said earlier, they want to employ the best of hands at the most affordable amounts they can pay. Okay, now you would see a job of 50 persons, a job of 50 persons. An organization that should be deserving enough to have 50 persons working for them would rather prefer to employ 10 persons and then have those 10 persons overwork just to do the role of these 50 persons. What do I mean by this? A good instance, you go to some settings where the same person is the cleaner, the same person is the one that attends, that's the receptionist. The same, the same person is the one that will do the role of even preparing food for the employer and so on. What do you have to say in that regard? What do you have to say?
You know, uh, I'm sorry. Do you know why I'm laughing? Because this was one of the things I hated about my PPA. I'm sorry. One person, especially in the toddler class, will be taking care of the children, making them sleep, making them poo, clean their bodies when they all go and mess themselves in the toilet. Those that pee in the pants will pee. All these adventures for one person. And this same person is the one to clean up everywhere in the school. This same person, I'm telling you, is the one to make sure that she runs errands. I don't know if did you get that? This same person
Network
cleans
was,
up.
sorry please,
Okay,
network
I'll
was
run it
itching.
again. I'll run it again. It has to do with my former PP. Like it has a lot of, like, I was just laughing because it's reminding me of what I saw when I was in my PP. One person will be, especially in the toddler class, this particular cleaner, she will clean everywhere in the school, as big as the school is. She'll still be taking care of the children, making sure they sleep, feed them during lunch break, as many as she can. Sometimes you see the children surround her, she'll be feeding this one, feeding this one. I'm like, what? Sometimes she even help them write, still playing the role. That's three roles, including the ones that they go to poop or they poo on their body and she gets to wash their clothes. and clean them up. And you ask yourself, how much are they paying this person? You'll be disappointed.
Yeah,
And
that's
so
true.
in this, in you literally just, it's actually surprising, but it's a disappointment. I'm very disappointed. I was disappointed, and I still am. If I come across, I'll be disappointed. I believe that if God promotes me to be a boss, you know the right thing to do, so do it. Why kill somebody for a cheap pay? Why? It's not worth it. That's someone's mother, someone's sister. So don't kill anybody because you want to economize, or you're being stingy or selfish. These are human beings, for crying out sake. I think I think that's all I have to say.
All right. All right. I think your network is a bit itchy too from this end. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much for sharing. Another angle that got my attention, okay? For those who are very familiar with the African setting, I don't know for the whites, but for those who are very familiar with the African setting, families are like a tree that the flower is connected to the stalk is connected to the branch, the branch is connected to the stem is connected to the root. So you can't have an independent person like anyone that would say is totally independent. Yes. So sorry, please. I don't just know why network is just like this. I don't just know why network is like this. And I don't even want to stress you later. If not, we would have done a reschedule for this evening, but I know you'll be busy by then, especially I so appreciate the fact that not minding that you have a busy schedule over there. The network is becoming something else right now. All right, we'll see how to wrap up. Let's say at most 20 minutes from now, we'll see how to wrap up, okay? So I was trying to talk about the family styles in the African setting, where one person is connected to the other and the other and this and this and this. You're not, no one can proudly or boastfully say that I am independent. No one can actually do that, whether you are male or a female, whether male or female, whether from a rich home or from an average home, you see how persons connected to you. Now, look into the aspect of the pay because we've already dissected that. Now, let's look at the aspect of the social factors at the place of work. Okay, let's look at the social factor. Now, there are persons or there are places where you work one person is out there. There's this idiom that say in every 12 there is a Judah. Sorry, there's a yeah, Judah fault. So you can pick up and then have a go to tell. One person is looking for your weakness and this out there just to tell. Now, looking at all these look at all these factors that demotivate someone. And then there are persons too out there that their boss, they are even toxic. They are looking for your downfall. They're looking for all opportunity just to pick up with you. Now, and these persons who have a longer family tree, most persons depend on that small 20,000 naira, that small 30,000 naira salary, and so on. And if this person gets to lose this job, you find out that a whole lot of persons are affected at the end. And this also plays a role in job satisfaction. What would you want to say in relation to the social aspect of jobs? What do you want to say? What would be your take home? What would be your advice for my viewers right now?
you run that last again? I didn't get you clearly. You cracked. You were
Okay.
cracking.
All right. I'm saying that looking at all these issues that would come from either your employer aspect, where he or she wants to pick your least error, in facility where they can't just send you out at once, but want to make other person notice, either see you that you are what being sacked. Most times, he may not even be your direct employer, may just be a manager and so on. He's just looking for one point to hit at you. Maybe the both of you had misunderstanding on something, or that's where another that's a fellow colleague of yours, that which a fellow colleague of yours is looking for a weakness from you just to gossip about and so on. Looking at all these factors that demotivate people, what would you have to say if you were to give your words on the social aspect for job satisfaction? Please, if you are still connected at this point, let us know in the comment box, please. If you are still connected, it looks like network is beating most persons off. Let us know in the comment box if you are still connected. So you can go ahead, please.
Sorry, if I'm to get your answer straight, your question straight, you're asking what an employee is to do when everything about his or her working environment is negative, right?
Exactly, yeah. When you're getting those negative vibes, those toxic
Okay,
energy,
okay.
what would be your recommendation?
So I think, yeah. For a start, there's a reason for everything. Okay,
Sure.
there is a reason why you are at that place at that particular time, and it's for a particular purpose. So my advice to that person would be just reflect on the positive experience of that particular place. Reflect on what you're actually getting from that place. Look at what you're supposed to look at and not what people around there or your boss, your fellow colleagues are making you to look at. Most persons are actually in a place for training. Okay. Most persons are
Yeah.
actually in a place for their self-development too.
Okay.
So I'll just say ignore what you're doing. It's difficult. Hey, my God, it's very difficult, especially when the bantering is coming from your boss. But
Yeah.
in as much as you know that you will not be there forever, but for a short moment of time, ignore what you're doing and get what you're supposed to get and leave when it's time. But just make sure you get what
Okay.
you're supposed to. So that going there in the first place will not be in a waste. Like it will not be a waste.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much, MK, for sharing. All right. So, from what, if I should deduce from what you are saying, which is true, motivation is more of internal before you look at the external factor, right? When the external factor is not giving you what you need, you have to rely or turn over to your internal factor to keep yourself going. And if I must add up to that, if you have the whereabouts to move on to another job, please don't hesitate, because it is quite draining, and then it has a lot of psychological implications when you know that at that very place where you're working, they are not giving you the energy you want, they are not appreciating you, they are not giving you opportunity to be creative, to be productive, and at the same time, the little effort, the little energy you are trying to push in just to ensure that the performance, the overall performance is actually appreciable, is they are not giving you that very opportunity. Please move on. Please move on if you have the whereabouts. Yes, quit. That's what it means in short. Quit. But for those persons, which I want to balance it now, just as she said, for those persons who don't have this whereabouts, please, before you, there's an idiom that says, before you look before you leap. Look before you leap. So before you quit, please ensure that the place you are moving on to It's not more toxic or toxier than what you are already facing. Ensure that they pay and every factor that were demotivating you, that you would not still encounter them over there, because someone will say no place is perfect out there, no one is perfect out there, and so on. So ensure those things. That's why, which one of the days I'm going to hold a session where we talk about what should a potential interviewer expect from an interviewer or from an interview. So before you go, it's better you make your findings, your underground ground findings, your background findings about the place you want to actually, you are seeking for employment. So find out those factors if they are not there. And two, know that your happiness does not depend 100% from the environment. The energy you give out is what you get in return. The energy you give out is what you get in return. So if they are not giving you what you want, create motivation for yourself. Create that motivation for yourself. So I think that would be just for those persons who are encountering this very toxic issue. They are in that toxic environment as at the moment. Please, any of this advice would be useful to you. Okay, so MK, just because of the network that is giving us this up and down and so on, so we don't keep you too long on this discussion. In conclusion, if you were to be given a second opportunity, would you be doing what you are doing at the moment?
Um, if I'm given a second opportunity, I will not.
Okay. Thank you for sharing. Thank you
Life
for
must
sharing.
be lived with satisfaction. Okay, you must live your life in a way that you are satisfied. And when you are satisfied, you know that you can satisfy your creator. Like now, let's say that I am in this point in time that I hate okay, let's say let me not use myself because I am working something out. I'm working, I'm pushing, I'm pushing, I'm striving to get there higher and higher, and I know I will above this level. Let's use a person that hates what he or she is doing so much that it works on the person's character. Everything you do is otherwise, and you get God angry, and people around you, you just produce. Most persons cannot manage their self. They cannot manage their emotions. They cannot motivate them. They refuse to, or it's either they refuse to or they don't want to. They just know that they don't like it, and anyhow you see me, take it. They are human beings like that. I mean, we're living in the world. Anything is possible. At that point, you get God angry at every given chance you get, and then people around you, you are toxic to them. So if I am given a second chance, no, I will not. I will go after my dreams. And no matter how many times I have to try, I know I will try because, even when you're failing in what you have passion for, there's this internal motivation to keep going because you have the
Yeah.
assurance that you get there. I mean, it's something you love, so you're willing to sacrifice for it.
Mm.
So I will not do it. I'll go for my passion.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing. All right. If you had to change one thing in your profession, or if you are able to change 10 things in your profession, what would that one thing be, or what would that 10 things be? Do share with us, please.
Okay. Uh, in my profession, that's the business. Hmm. I'll change the economy to start with. I'm sorry. The economy is toxic for business people. Be a business like a successful business person in this country, you deserve a crown. You need to be crowned. So let's start with the economy. The economy needs to be worked on because businessmen are crying. I'm telling you out of experience. I am there in the field. I have seen people. I work with people. I have friends. They tell me a lot. They complain a lot. And myself, I'm also complaining. I'll change the economy. I'll change the mindset of the people. The people want quality. They want quantity. They don't want quality. Okay. Some persons want quantity. They don't want quality. Some persons want quantity, but they are not willing to pay for it. I don't know if you get my point.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so let's say it's a week. You want bone straight, but you cannot remove hundreds of thousands, and you want to pay 20K. That's sponge they are giving to you. That way, once water enter, it has turned to sponge. That's fake. So I'll first change the mindset of the I'll change the economy first. I'll change the mindset of the people. I think those are the two major things. I don't think it will have to reach 10. If you can work on the economy and the mindset of the people, every other thing shall fall into place. And that's simple fact about it.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much for sharing. Maybe I'll give you just two questions and then we'll end there. So the first one is, what would you recommend to those persons who are upcoming using your experience back then in school and then where you are at the moment? What would you recommend to them if they were given the privilege and if they have passion in your profession? Because someone would say, one man's food is another man's poison, right? So that's
True.
why I always say in life there is no vacant, there's no vacuum at all. Because what looks like you don't like now, another person want to fill in that very position. So what would be your recommendation to those persons?
Okay, let me back to school. For those persons that have a passion and they are writing jam to go for that passion, it might be theater arts. Trust me, nothing is too small. It might be shoemaking, it might be tailoring, okay? It might be fashion. Let me use that word because tailoring is not a nice word to use. It might be fashion, it might be, mass communication, anything. It might be anything. There's even a musical school too. It might be music. One word for you is go for your passion. Don't compromise. Don't say, okay, let me just take the one that I see. It will choke you. Like it will get to a point that you feel so frustrated, and most persons have not gotten the maturity to control their emotions or to turn back to either to always God, to turn back to God for comfort. Most persons are even far. So when you're far from God and you're suffering, what tell me what next awaits you? So just go for your dreams. It doesn't matter how many times you have to write to get into that particular department. Just give it a try anyway. Keep going. I have a friend. I have a friend. She has always wanted law. I don't know if you're hearing me. She's always wanted law, and she wrote the first time. She did not get in. Do you know this lady wrote up to 5 times jam just to get into law? And she did. Now she's about to graduate. Like, so if you're hearing me right now, yes, I was saying something. I don't know if you heard me. I noticed your network was
Get
okay.
any
I
more
was
points at all?
Yeah, okay. I was saying that no matter what happens, they should go for their passion. I have a friend that wanted law. Was a study student in secondary school, but 9 minutes during YX, she swapped to arts. She has the brains. So I comforted her. I told her, you have the head, so go for it. And she wanted law. She wrote the first, second time, she did not get in. This lady literally wrote for 3 to 4 to 5 times. And finally, she got in right now about to graduate out of the school. I have another one that still wanted law. She
Wow.
wrote up to 5 times and more. I can't keep count. And she later got in. And she's in law school right now. It pays to do what you love. To anywhere. Look at she didn't even go to school. She pursued fashion, her passion. Like fashion is her passion, and she pursued it. She's a renowned fashionist. Like, how am I going to put this? She's so great right now in what she does. She's a king or a queen in what she does because everything she did is out of drive. If you are not doing what you
Wow.
don't love, if you're not doing what you don't have passion for, the result is quite different. Vicky James is where she is. I will call her anyway. She is where she loves what she's doing. She derives passion in making people beautiful, and it works for her. So, anyway,
All right. So much
sorry.
for that.
Yeah. So anyway, go for what you love. It pays. I'll tell them that.
Okay. How about those persons who find interest in business education? What would you say to them?
Yes. Now, it's the same for everybody. Same as it is for Vicky James, so it is for you. She's a human being like you. If you find passion in business, trust me, flourish in it. I mean, what she's doing is not business. It's business she's doing. Vicky James is a fashion designer, and that's pure business. She goes outside the country, gets stocks, come back. Do you know how much dollar rate is? She still succeeds anyway. Have you seen her house? You will succeed in it. Just make sure, my word for you, whether it's business, whether it's tailor, whether it's shoemaking, so long as you love it and you have passion, you will make it. And that's the truth. Except you are naturally lazy. Hmm. But if you have passion for it and you're willing to try out things, you will get there. It's just a matter of time.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. My final question, please. I know I've stressed you so much today, but it means the world having you here. It means the world to me, and I'm so grateful. So, my final question goes this way. Do you enjoy having yourself on this live stream, having to tell persons, share your experience with other persons, having to motivate other persons out there? How do you find it? How do you find that emotion? What is it like over there at
I
your
enjoy
end?
being, yeah, I enjoy being here, and I wish so many persons will, if not now, later come across this video and get one or two motivations, because I know that what we are talking about here is actually reality. And he who is ready to listen will get a whole lot out of this discussion. Like I myself, I have reminded myself of a lot of things that I had maybe forgotten. And I myself too, I am so happy to be here, sincerely speaking. I didn't plan for this today, obviously, but I'm so glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
All right, thank you so much. Okay, to my viewers, if you are still there, I'm so grateful for having all of you here. And if you have followed through from at least a greater part of this discussion and you are still here, please let us know in the comment box. We want to use this very moment to give a shout out to most of you and maybe to all of you. Thank you so much for having you here. It was nice. We're discussing on job satisfaction. And then we are exploring and excavating as well as dissecting the experiences of different professionals in relation to this very topic, job satisfaction. And for today's discussion, we started with someone in business education, hoping that possibly tomorrow we might be talking with someone who is into nursing. So if your passion has always been in nursing, tomorrow will be the right place for you to come in and then gather in the experience or take in. Come with your biggest fork because there will be sufficient meat to pick out of the drum, okay? The drum of experiences. So, if you are a lover of content that relates with education, business related content, educational related content, religious related content, and motivationals, then this is the right place for you. Why not get yourself subscribed to this very channel so you always be reminded of contents that drop. That's by turning on all notifications bell. And also, if you are yet to check up other videos, please do well to check up the videos and like, comment, share for other persons to also learn from what you have benefit from this very discussion. So at this point, I want to appreciate everyone that have stayed thus far. I want to give a shout out to Blessing. Blessing, thank you so much for staying this far. I believe you met us somewhere along the beginning. And then Tasha, thank you so much, Tasha. She has been very supportive. And for those who don't know Tasha, she's actually into lifestyle. She's a YouTuber, and then if you go to her site, you will learn a lot. There are a lot to learn out of there. If you love food and so on, you want to get other ways, the same food you are preparing can be prepared and then be enjoyed with very attractive sites. I think our site will be a plug for you. We also had with us earlier um, Favor the Midwife. So if you want to get content as relates with midwifery and health in general, then her site is actually the right plug for you. Search out with the YouTube search button. Yeah, it will take you there. So we also had with us earlier, let me check. We had earlier with us Annie's Kitchen and Lifestyle. So she's also into food and confectionaries. So just in case you are a lover of any of those I have mentioned, then please do check them up. Annie's Kitchen and Lifestyle, that's for Annie's. Then for Favor, it's Tasha Nkem, that's the That's the word you use to check in the search icon. So for every other person that have been there, both the YouTubers and non-YouTubers, I want to appreciate every one of us. We might likely be coming up later in the evening, but may not be a two-person discussion, okay? So please do well to come up possibly by 9:30 this evening, 9:30 this evening. So do well to come by just to check up on what we'll be discussing on. Share your own experience, drop your own experience, your own opinion in the comment box. Thank you so much, everyone. And to MK, I want to say it's a big privilege having you here. I know how busy it was and how much you had to adjust just to meet up with this very task. I don't know how much you want to charge me at the end of this discussion because I know you have stressed the life out of you. So thank you so much for having you, MK. Always looking forward to see you come back just to check up on what is going on. For tomorrow, I say might likely be with a nurse, so you can also hear from the nurse's perspective about job satisfaction. Thank you so much, everyone. I want to zoom off at this point. We'll be ending the live stream here. God bless you all. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you.